All right, so as we wrap up here, I want to hit some really important points. And this is how we become better at personal defense, at defending our families, our churches, our communities. We study real cases. Okay, just like we've done here. We watch video. We read about it. We read about the Speck case. We read about all these things. Not because we relish or like violence. We may hate it, but the problem is that it's a reality. And so if we understand that, then we will be better prepared to study real cases. Watch video. Really watch video. And I would say this. A lot of people might disagree with me, including children. I have my kids watch videos like this. And a lot of people say, that's we don't want to do that. That's getting things in their minds, etc. No. What's getting in their minds is that man is capable of all kinds of evil. That's a reality that we must possess. That they do have the right to defend themselves in an inalienable manner, and they can't rely on the police to do it. So as they get older, they need to take responsibility for it. And they need to understand that bad things happen and there are bad people out there. Okay, so I say have your kids watch it with you. You can explain it to them, and you can start out with maybe a little bit tamer videos. I'm not saying, terribly gory or anything like that. But like the videos we watched, there's no gore in there, but there's lots of lessons to be learned. You need to embrace the fact that it can happen to you. Okay? It can happen to you. You need to get the training that you need, and I say the right kind of training. So what is the standard for the right kind of training? It needs to be realistic. It needs to be realistic. Okay, firearms training. There's nothing wrong with marksmanship training. There's nothing wrong with shooting from a bench rest with firearms. Okay, but you can't stop there. You can't stop there. Once you get proficient at that, you need to challenge yourself. You need to challenge yourself with firearms training. It needs to be put yourself in an elevated stress environment. You need to run 100 yards and then shoot your pistol at an elevated heart rate to try and mimic a little bit of what it would be like. You want a stressful environment. Induce stress like that. That's the type of training you want. As far as martial arts are concerned, I would rather go to the self-defense school that has no belts, that has very few techniques, and is all about real live training with multiple assailants, weapons of opportunity, running away, engaging and running away, screaming. I mean, that's real. Okay, that's real. I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and even some other martial arts like Taekwondo and those kinds of things. But they can be a detriment. I have seen this on video outside of bars where you have a guy who's probably a great grappler be fighting with somebody, pull them into guard. In other words, pull them down to the ground, and then not understanding that even though this guy could easily take down and grapple and choke this person out, his buddies just start stomping on his head. Okay? So we need to understand, we need to develop realistic training. Okay, so that's finding schools that concentrate on realistic training with firearms, with empty hand, with weapons of opportunity, etc. You need to combat the bystander and the freeze effect. And we saw that in the video with the lady with the small child. She just froze. I mean, there's rounds coming down range, and she just sat there. She did move away a little bit, was freaked out. We need to fight that. And now, how do we do that? By doing all the things that I was just talking about. By watching videos, by understanding, by training, by doing these kinds of things. So in the bystander effect, a little bit different. Bystander effect can be like the freeze, but it can also be somebody who sits there and says, okay, well, something bad just happened. Oh, somebody here is going to call 911. Okay? Somebody here is going to do it. And then what is everyone else thinking? Somebody here is going to call 911. Nobody calls 911. Be the person. Be the person. Don't fall into the trap of being the bystander effect. Be the sheepdog, not the sheep. Mental rehearsal and visualization. Okay, this is a really important technique. Just like I gave you the example of sitting in church and understanding where everything was at, and if people made entry from my left side, what would I do? And if people made entry from the front right, what would I do? What would I do if a bomb went off? What would I do if somebody walked in and started yelling and screaming. Okay, what if the scenario? Do mental rehearsals. It's very effective, and because a lot of times we can't train so realistically. I mean, obviously we can't shoot at people with rounds, so we need to mentally rehearse those things and train the best we can. Okay, so that concludes our course for today. I hope that you got a lot out of it as far as personal defense. It's important that you understand these principles. From these principles, you can base all of your techniques, tactics, and procedures to help you defend yourself, your family, and your community.